And then here we are with our Aussies filming us filming, which is great. They came all the way over from Australia. Absolutely fantastic. So we're filming being filmed. And they're in shorts.
Here we are,
Maine.
bundled up.
And we're
Welcome to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. Welcome to a new episode of Sam's Garage. On today's episode, Sam and Doug are working their way across the great state of Maine on the Great Race. Sam completes the steering system in the '55 Chevy Bel Air. The Nopi SC300 receives a new set of racing seats. And Sam does some much needed maintenance on his Chevy truck. Sam and Doug are heading up the East Coast through beautiful Maine and make sure to stop and enjoy some fresh lobster.
So what do you think about the experience so far?
I think it's pretty incredible. I've never seen anything like it. It's really intricate. The logistics that goes into planning such an event are immense. And hats off to the team because I don't know how they did it. It's really cool, and we're getting to see some beautiful places. New England is always a great place to be.
And they're all country back roads through the most beautiful woods, farmland, the part of the country you normally wouldn't see because you're on the interstate. Yeah. And then they put in so many obstacles. Think about the amount of time and the crew it takes to go out there and scout these roads, scout the obstacles, insert obstacles to make it even harder for us. It's really brilliant. This is something that I think every couple should do to get to know each other, because it really tests your ability to follow instructions on both the driver and the navigator.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting relationship building event, regardless whether you're doing it with, your spouse, your friend, another family member. It's a unique opportunity. If you can do it, do it. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, even though there's people that have been doing this for years and years. Yep.
And so today we're going to be on our way to the coast. It's going to be a very beautiful day. We got cold weather, a little bit of rain, but that's not going to stop us from having lobster and parking our car in the car park.
I am getting ready to start setting anything up. We've got to go ahead and pick up our instructions so I can go through it, do my annotations like I've done on these other ones so we know what we're doing. And hopefully we won't blow it today. We won't blow by any turns. Today we got to be on. The next 2 days are our championship days. So everything that we've learned up to this point, now it's the money run. 50 G's to the winner, but we aren't going to be the winners. But I'd like for us to score in the upper half, but we'll do our best. That's all we can do.
Another warm welcome, as you can see. Very cool display of cars here at the museum. We're about to go inside, check out the museum, look at some cars and grab some food. This is a championship day and tomorrow, so that means that there are no more handicaps. Only thing we can do is time delays. In case there's an obstruction in front of us, we can stop and do a time delay. But there are no more handicaps, meaning they're not going to throw out any bad legs we have.
No bad legs. But we've had a good day, so we'll keep doing our best. Looking forward to the end.
Let's go get some lunch.
That sounds good.
So I think it's time to eat some lobster. As you can see, the weather has completely changed. Doug is feeling much better. He took his medicine all day. He did not cough up a lung today. He kept it in his chest.
Yeah.
And we did very good today. This was the champion run. There was no forgiveness.
Yep. We did it. We had a great run today.
Just time delay. We're in Owl's Head, Maine. This is the 8th day of the race. And like I said, guys, just when you think you're getting comfortable, you're actually getting tired.
Yeah.
And it really does a number on you, your concentration. And today there's no forgiveness.
For a raw score today was definitely our best day. We didn't have any majors, only one minor.
Car's still doing really well. We're getting about 20 miles per gallon.
With Sam driving.
It's so impressive because here we are on the 8th day. These cars, a lot of them are 100 years old, and a lot of the drivers are also 100 years old.
Yeah.
And they all made it. Here we are in Maine. So all we're doing now is just circling around in Maine. And then we'll be done tomorrow night, and then there'll be a banquet.
Great day today.
We are at an airport. There's a museum. This is the Transportation Museum. So dinner's gonna be at a hangar, and I'm sure there'll be some cool things to see. You guys stay tuned. We'll bring you some coverage from Owl's Head.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. Sam gets ready to install the new steering rack and column from Flaming River in the 55 Chevy Bel Air.
So today on Victor's Bel Air, we're going to be installing the Flaming River steering conversion kit. This is a rack and pinion setup. This is absolutely necessary because of our LS engine and the placement of it. This just barely clears our oil pan. Now, I moved my engine 1 inch forward because of the 4L80 transmission in there. So this would have cleared a lot better in a normal application, but we still got room. And I went ahead and I'm going to complement it with a nice polished column from Flaming River as well. We're going to go ahead and install this, and we'll have steering. We're getting one step closer to completing this build. All right, so you can see that we got our Flaming River rack and pinion cradle installed. This is very nice because this is how Flaming River ships this item to you, already pre-assembled. All you gotta do is put it up in place, put in the hardware that they supply, or you can purchase from, and you're ready to go. So they've already got the fittings installed. You wanna make sure to purchase your fittings from Flaming River per your application, because like this note says, if you don't, you're gonna create damage. Now, I'm gonna put in my steering column, and then I'll see what I need to connect from A to B. All right, so everything you see here is what I need to connect the steering column to the rack and pinion. What I got here is a standard GM steering column plug. Look at that right there, made in the USA. So I've got the harness connector that you make up. So on this particular model, we're going to reuse the factory mounting hardware because this is very similar to the construction of the OEM. And then we also got joints and unions to be able to connect our rod from the column over to the steering rack. I do have a joint where I'm going to be using this bracket and putting it somewhere on the frame, so I got some stability going from left to right. And then I've got a firewall bracket that's going to completely cover the hole that's there currently, reusing the factory gasket. So it should work just perfect. Everything here I got from Flaming River. You can also get from Summit Racing. All right, so we're finally ready to put the column in. I got ahead of myself, so always read the instructions or get ahead of yourself and go back and fix it. I'm gonna make sure to install my gasket for the firewall. It's gonna go on this side of the bracket. This is gonna cover everything up. It's there, it's perfect shape, why not use it? I've also got my handle, everything I need to make the column both work and look good at the same time. I've got my rubber grommet transferred over from the old column to the new column, and I'm ready to go in. All right, so I got the steering column loosely installed, and I don't want to finalize it until I know that when I tilt it up and down, it's going to be perfectly centered, and then I could tighten it. So I'm going to put my tilt rod in, but you want to make sure that the column is centered. And the only way to do that is to make sure that this column goes up and down, so it's like this. So we're good right there. I can go ahead and tighten my bottom. All right, so I got my Flaming River complete rack and pinion system installed. Everything clears. I got the linkage installed. That polished column fits a lot better than the painted column. So everything is done. I'm waiting for my steering wheel from Classic Industries. Now, one thing I do recommend is what comes in the kit as far as you guys pinning your harness. I wouldn't use this. I'd go to Summit Racing and buy yourself a sub harness, cut it, use what's already pinned. It'll give you reliability. So then you could splice it into your existing harness and still have connectivity. So go to Summit Racing, pick you up a sub harness. Everything else, Flaming River did an awesome job with the rack and pinion conversion kit. I love using their products because everything fits together so well. This is for all you youngsters out there. You guys have a huge opportunity right now to become future technicians. And if you want to become a future technician, you can also become an entrepreneur by owning your own body shop or tire shop. When it comes to quality machinery, to both save your back, save yourself, and do a good justice for the customer by not scratching their wheels or damaging their tires. So I'm using a Corgi Master 28. This thing is basically touchless completely. It uses joysticks to handle and maneuver all the equipment. You don't even have to lift the tire up. You put it on this cradle, lifts it up for you, it takes it down for you, then you go over to the balance machine, you've got a lift, it takes it up for you and takes it down for you. You have the opportunity to become future technicians, future entrepreneurs. You want to get yourself a commercial account. If you're selling tires, you want to look at Tire Distributors of Georgia. They do an awesome job. They're here in the Southeast. They get the tires to you as soon as they can. They've got awesome customer service. You pick up the phone, you can talk to whoever you want, ask questions, and they'll be answering them for you. They won't give you the runaround. Save yourself. If the adult says, hey man, don't lift it like that, save your back. They know better. You won't be in pain like I am right now in my 50s.
Welcome back to more Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. Sam and Julie prep the seats for the Nope SE300 by installing the rails and brackets so they can safely be mounted in the car.
So this week on the Nope SC300 project, Julie and I are going to be tackling the interior. That steering wheel isn't even bolted on.
Yeah, I know. We've had to move the car around, and it's not fun when you're in the car and it comes off on you.
It's a little fun for the guy on the outside though. So today we're going to be installing new seats, new seat rails, fixing the position of the seat on the driver's side, and we're going to top it off with a nice new steering wheel.
Yeah, I think it's going to look great. It's going to be a huge transformation from what it is now. Big difference.
Yeah. I got my eBay seat here, shipped for less than 400 bucks. They've already bolted the rails onto the seats for me. You're going to want to use Allen head bolts for this application because you have no room for a hex head. This is going to be the bar for the slider. This bar is going to go on like such, and it's going to be how you activate the seat rail. You want to measure, so I'm one click too low here. So I do this, push it up, and I'm even. This is so that when you activate this slider and you're moving your seat forward and backward, it actually tracks in a straight line. Now we're going to put the rail on. It's very important that you take this rail and first dry fit it to your floor, just in case you have to make the holes any bigger. You can do that before you attach it to the seat. Also, you have to remember that this is the recliner. So this is on the left side. So this is going to be on the driver's side. This here holds the buckle for the seat belt. So it's going to be opposite the handle for the recliner. As you can see, there are several slots for the rail. Just depends on what seat you use. So I went to NRG and I got me a complete kit, steering wheel, hub, and a removable locking hub. So this is the piece that's going to bolt up to the steering column. Then when that's bolted up, we're going to separate this. This piece here is going to bolt up to the hub on the steering column. The steering wheel is going to bolt up to the face of this hub right here, and then when it's all done, it locks. It becomes one piece. But then when you want to leave your car somewhere sketchy, you want to make it to where they can't steal it, you can very easily remove your steering wheel, put it in a safe spot, walk away from your car. So what you want to do is make sure your wheels are perfectly straight. If you were good and your steering wheel was straight, make sure you remove it straight, then put your hub on. If you look right here, 12 o'clock we have a hole. 12 o'clock, it doesn't matter, this is spline. So just put your 12 o'clock here and you should be very close to your alignment. Then you can bolt up your removable hub, then bolt the steering wheel onto this and you should be good. Let me see that guy. That looks good, doesn't it?
It looks really good. I have to admit, I was a little nervous about the iridescent center, but with the red seats, it reflects the red into the purple, and it looks really cool.
All the glitter in the ring.
Yeah.
Reminds you of roller skating rink days, right?
It does.
And the red seats with the cream and the black back. It all looks really good.
Yeah, it really changes it. I mean, I have to admit, like, it was kind of bland, but so adding pops of color, it definitely makes it stand out.
And we save money by going on eBay and picking up all this stuff. So you guys who are building cars, you're getting into the game, you don't have a lot of money, don't forget about eBay and Amazon, all right? And Summit Racing has awesome affordable parts as well. So all we gotta do now is go to the upholstery shop, get my center console and my door panels, and put the rest of the interior back together as much as we can, and then we're gonna do gauges at the end.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. Sam performs some much-needed steering maintenance on his 2006 Chevy Silverado with parts from Mevotech.
All right, guys, I got my 2006 Chevy Silverado in here. It's not a looker, but it's a go-getter. Today, we're gonna be doing some steering maintenance on it. We've went to Mevotech. We got some inner tie rods, outer tie rods, and we're gonna show you how to properly maintain your pitman arm and idler arm. I know you guys want the chrome fender covers. That's pretty cool, old school. Lots of dents and bumps and bruises on this thing because I use it to go to the dump and everything else. So before I take off the wheel, I need to look and see if there's any play in the suspension or the steering. So I'm gonna take the wheel and go left to right, just like this. This is gonna tell me whether my inner or outer tie rod is bad. If I have play going left to right, that's gonna be in the steering components. If I go up and down like this, it's gonna be in the wheel bearing. Most cases, the ball joint has to be completely bad for you to get play going like this. So if you do up and down, most cases it's the wheel bearing. If you go left to right, most cases it's gonna be a steering component, whether it's the inner or an outer tie rod. All right, so let's talk the importance of steering components. You've got the inner tie rod, and in my case, I have a rack and pinion, so this is gonna bolt up straight to the rack and pinion or steering gear. Now let's say I had a steering box set up, no rack and pinion. You've got a nice idler arm here that utilizes their TTX technology as far as the joint goes. It is lubable. Now, a pitman arm is the most important. This bolts up to the steering gear and the linkage. Also, you want to check your boots. So it's a very good idea that if you guys are doing maintenance on one item of the vehicle, go ahead and do a complete inspection of the rest of the vehicle and see what else needs to be replaced. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the clamp from the boot. It's a pinch clamp, so I use a pick tool to undo it, pull it out. You're going to use a zip tie in its place. So we're going to move the boot out of the way. Then we're going to grab, in this case, it's easier to use a pipe wrench. You're not going to reuse the inner tie rod, so it's okay if you gall it up a little bit. But with the way it's stamped, you can't get a wrench in there. It's very hard. And it's going to take a 32mm wrench. It's very big. Pipe wrench works very easily. Take it out, take the pitchfork, get the tie rod in out of the knuckle, put it on the vise because you're going to have to transfer over the boot. In this case, our boot is perfectly fine, so I'm just going to transfer it over. First, I'm going to measure the tie rod, making sure that I put the new tie rod in the exact same measurement, so that way it'll be easier when I get to the alignment machine. So I'm going to measure it, got 15 3/8, take it apart, move the boot, transfer the boot onto the new Mevotech inner tie rod. Then you're going to put the boot on, you're going to put the jam nut in place, then you're going to put the outer Mevotech tie rod in place. Make sure you use a little bit of anti-seize on the threads that go into the outer tie rod so that the alignment guy for years to come will have no issues adjusting your suspension and steering. So then what we're going to do is go ahead and reinstall it in the reverse procedure that we uninstalled it. We're not going to use that pink bushing. We don't need that. It's not going to fit over the new Mevotech piece. So then we're going to go ahead and reassemble the tie rod, put the nut in place, put your cotter pin in place, and don't forget to grease the bushings. And then while you're greasing those new bushings, go ahead and check the rest of the ball joints and make sure you grease them up as well. All right, the steering system is good, up to snuff on my Silverado. Next thing it's gonna need is an oil change. It probably won't hit the shop though for another year just because I'm so busy doing everybody else's cars. You guys heard the old saying, shoe shiner's shoes does not shine. Well, my cars don't shine.
Be sure to check out Sam's Garage on these other media platforms. Send us questions and feedback to info@samsgaragetv.com. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Sam's Garage. Sam and Doug are on the final days of the great race. The Chevy Bel Air has a new steering rack and column. The SE300 has a sweet new set of seats. And Sam upgraded the front steering parts in a Chevy Silverado.